The Strange Girl in the Wreckage. The year was 2237. Captain John Carter flew alone in the deep parts of space, carrying supplies from Mars to Titan base. The stars outside were calm, silent, but his scanner beeped. He looked at the screen. A small alien ship was floating near a dead moon. Broken. No signal. No reply. Strange, John said to himself. He sent a scan. No life signs. But something felt wrong. The ship looked new, but it was torn apart, like it was attacked. He shouldn't stop. But his human instinct to help made him change course. John docked his ship next to the wreck. He wore his helmet, took his blaster, and entered the dark alien vessel. The lights inside blinked weakly. Wires hung from the ceiling. There was no sound, just the soft hum of his own suit. He moved carefully. No bodies, no crew. Just signs of panic, open doors, spilled containers, claw marks on the walls. What happened here? He whispered. Then, he heard something, a soft rustling sound, like breathing. From the shadows, he pointed his light. At first, he saw nothing. But then, a shape moved. A girl. Small, thin, pale, blue skin, big glowing eyes. She was hiding behind a broken panel, shaking. She looked at him with fear and hunger. She wasn't human. But, she looked so young. Maybe 16 in human years. John lowered his weapon slowly. "It's okay," he said. "I won't hurt you." The girl didn't reply. She just stared. Her lips were dry. Her hands trembled. He reached into his pack and pulled out a protein bar. Slowly, he placed it on the floor and backed away. She waited, then crawled out, snatched the bar, and ate like she hadn't eaten in days. John watched in silence. "Who are you?" he asked softly. She didn't speak, but her eyes stayed locked on his. He opened his translator device, but her language didn't match anything known. Still, she seemed to understand basic words. He pointed to himself. "John." She looked confused. He tried again. "My name is John." The girl looked at him, then pointed to herself. "Ah, Lee. Ha," she said slowly. "Alira," John repeated. She nodded. Suddenly, her body swayed. She was too weak. She collapsed. John rushed forward and caught her. She was cold, and very light, like she hadn't eaten in weeks. He didn't want to leave her there. He made a quick choice. Back, on his ship, John placed Alira on the medbed. He scanned her vitals. Strange, but stable. He gave her water, and soft food. Slowly, she slept out. Hours passed. When she woke up, she sat up suddenly, like she had seen a nightmare. She looked around, panicked. "It's okay," John said calmly. "You're safe now." She looked at him again, and this time, her eyes softened. She touched her chest lightly. Then, she said a single word, broken, but clear. "Babies." John blinked. "What?" Alira looked down. Her hands were shaking. She pointed at him, then to her own chest, and said again, "Babies need you." John didn't understand. Was she hurt? Was she confused? Was she even talking about real babies? "Wait, you want help? Or, what do you mean?" he asked. Alira didn't answer. She closed her eyes, as if speaking had used all her energy, but her body began to glow faintly. Soft blue lines forming on her arms, like ancient markings. The scanner beeped. Her biology was changing. "What are you?" John whispered. Suddenly, an alert flashed on his screen. "Warning. Unknown ship. Detected a small drone." Watching them from afar, he looked at the screen. The drone disappeared. John turned back to Alira. She was awake again, and staring at him. Her voice was weak, but she spoke again. "You feed Alira now. Alira protect you." He took a breath. This was bigger than he thought. A lone girl, from a destroyed alien ship. She speaks of babies, of protection, and now someone is watching them. John didn't know what he had just stepped into, but deep in his heart, he knew this was just the beginning. John Carter stared at the strange girl sleeping in the medbed. Her name was Alira. Her skin glowed softly in the dark, thin blue lines moving slowly across her arms like glowing tattoos. They weren't there before. He didn't know what she was. But one thing was clear. She wasn't human. And yet, she looked peaceful. The next morning, Alira sat up, weak but alert. She looked around his ship with wide eyes, like a child seeing the world for the first time. John handed her a drink. "Here, water." Alira took it carefully. "Water," she repeated, copying him. John smiled. "You're learning fast." She looked at him for a long time. Then she pointed to a picture on the wall, an old photo of Earth. "Home," she asked. John nodded. Yeah, that's Earth. My home. She tilted her head. Not safe. He blinked. What do you mean? Alira looked down. Her face grew sad. She placed a hand over her chest and whispered, home. Gone. John sat beside her. You had a home. She nodded slowly. Long time ago. Big sky, red trees, singing wind. John listened. Her voice was soft, broken, but full of feeling. She wasn't just repeating words. She remembered. Then she said something strange. Big ships. Come from dark. They eat us. Eat. John asked, confused. She nodded. Take life. Take light. They are harvesters. John sat still. That word sounded dangerous. Who are the harvesters? He asked. Alira's eyes filled with fear. Bad. They follow. Always follow. Are they following you now? He asked carefully. She didn't answer, but the glowing lines on her arms got brighter. Later, John checked his ship's logs. That small drone from yesterday. It wasn't just passing by. It had scanned them, and then vanished. Someone was watching. John looked at Alira, who was now drawing shapes on a screen with her fingers. Circles, stars, and strange patterns. Is that your language? He asked. She smiled. Old words. My people's sky map. Then she pointed to one symbol. A broken star. This is where we die. John looked closer. The map showed a place far outside any known star system. No planet name. He asked. She shook her head. No name now. Only dust. That night, while John checked ship systems, he heard a noise. He turned. Alira was behind him, watching, silently. Her eyes glowed in the dark. Can't sleep? He asked. Alira stepped closer. She touched his arm gently. You help me, she said softly. You give food. Kindness. John nodded. Yeah, it's what people do. She smiled, then said something unexpected. My kind, we live when we bond. Life needs life. John looked confused. What do you mean? Alira placed a hand over her chest, then pointed to him. I choose you. John took a step back. Choose? For what? Alira looked down, almost shy. To stay alive, I must connect, not just touch, but spirit, emotion. He didn't understand all of it, but it sounded serious. You mean, your people need love to survive? He asked. She nodded. Yes, we grow from feeling, not from blood. You fed my body. Now, I feel. Suddenly, alarms blared. Incoming signal detected. John rushed to the controls. A small ship was nearby. Not a regular one. It didn't send ID. No message. Just silence. Alira walked to the window and stared into the stars. They come, she said. John checked the scanner. It's just one ship, Alira whispered. One is scout. Others follow. He grabbed the comes unidentified vessel. Respond. Now. No answer. Don't then. The enemy ship powered weapons. John shouted. Hold on. He pulled the ship into a hard spin. A laser beam sliced through space, missing them by inches. He fired back. One hit. The ship exploded too easy. Almost like a decoy, John said. Alira nodded. They test. They watch. Then they take. After the danger passed, John sat alone in the control room. He was breathing hard, mind racing. What had he gotten into? A strange girl, glowing skin, alien enemies, and now a growing bond between them he didn't fully understand. Was she using him, or was she telling the truth? Alira entered the room again, holding a small flower from the ship's hydropod. She placed it on his desk and said, "This is gift." John looked at the flower, then at her. Why? He asked. She smiled softly. Because you saw me, when no one else did. Captain John Carter sat alone in the cockpit. The stars outside were quiet, but his mind wasn't. Alira's words echoed in his head. They follow. Always follow. She had said it with fear, like they were already too late. He looked over at her. She sat cross-legged near the ship's wall, her hands glowing faintly, tracing invisible lines in the air. She was calm. To calm. John had questions. Too many, but no answers yet. The next day, the ship passed through an asteroid belt. It was supposed to be empty space, but something was wrong. John checked the radar. Unusual signal detected. He zoomed in. A small object was hiding behind a large rock. No ID, no heat, no power, but not dead. Alira looked up and whispered, "Watcher." John narrowed his eyes. Another drone. She nodded. They watch first, then they feed. He launched a probe toward the object. Before it reached, the object moved. A black sphere unfolded silently, like a mechanical flower. long metallic arms extended, each ending in a sensor or weapon. Then, it disappeared, cloaked. John whispered. That's no drone. That's a hunter. He activated shields. We need to move. Alira didn't panic. Instead, she closed her eyes and said softly, too late. The ship shook. A loud alarm echoed through the hallway. Multiple objects approaching. Vector. High speed. No communication. John pulled the ship into full thrust, dodging through the asteroids. Red lights flashed across the panel. Then the screen lit up 5 enemy ships. No windows. No life signs. Just cold, dark metal. Like space itself had come alive. Alira grabbed the seat. Her skin started glowing brighter. John glanced at her. What's happening to you? She replied. They are near. My body knows. The first ship fired. John dodged barely in time. The laser skimmed the hull, burning the outer layer. Sparks flew inside. Shields at 60%. The system warned. John activated the ship's weapons and fired back. 2 hits. 1 enemy ship spun off, damaged. But the others closed in fast. Suddenly, Alira stood up and walked to the center of the room. What are you doing? John shouted. Alira raised her hands. Blue light formed between her palms, a strange energy pulse. The ship's lights flickered. Her glow spread to the walls, to the floor, to the circuits. And then, boom, a wave of blue energy shot from the ship, like a pulse from a beating heart. The enemy ships paused. Confused, John looked at the screen. There, backing off. Alira fell to her knees. Her glow faded slightly. That was me, she said, breathing hard. I warned them. You can do that? John asked, shocked. She nodded weakly. Only once. It costs me. John helped her up. What are you? She looked into his eyes. I was made to survive, but not alone. Later, as they drifted in safe space, John checked the ship's logs. That pulse Alira released, it wasn't just energy. It sent out a signal, a message, encrypted alien. But part of it had one word repeated. Protector. He turned to her. They fear you. No, she said. They fear you. He blinked me. She touched his chest. You gave, you shared, you bonded. That wakes the protector inside you. John stepped back. What protector? Alira pointed at his hand. Look. Blue marks faint appeared on his skin. Like hers. He stared at them, confused. What is this? She smiled. You're changing. John needed answers. He searched the wreck of Alira's ship again, digging through debris. He found a hidden data core. Back on board, he plugged it into his system. It took time. But then something appeared. A log, a video, old, blurry dot. A scientist, human-looking, spoke in broken English. Project. Hybrid salvation. Alien DNA. Human soul. They will become one, if they bond. If not, they die. John froze. This wasn't just an alien girl. This was a test subject. He turned to Alira. You're not just a survivor. You're part human. She looked away. I didn't know. John's mind raced. Then who created you? Alira whispered. Your people. That night, the stars felt colder. John sat quietly, staring out. Alira sat beside him. You feel lost, she said. I am, he replied. Everything is changing. You, me, the ship, even the enemy. She leaned her head on his shoulder. But you are still you. John didn't answer. Then she said, softly, I feel safe. Only with you. He looked at her glowing face. He didn't know what they were becoming, but deep down, he didn't want her to go. Just then, a new alert popped up. Long-range scan. Massive ship detected. Class. Unknown. ETA 48 hours. John stood up. What now? Alira whispered one word. Harvesters. The stars outside looked the same. But everything inside the ship had changed. John Carter stood quietly, staring at the scanner. A giant, unknown vessel, possibly Harvester class, was heading toward them. 48 hours left. Behind him, Alira sat on the floor, breathing slowly. Her hands rested on her knees, glowing softly. The blue lines on her skin now pulsed with rhythm, almost like a heartbeat. You need rest, John said. Alira opened her eyes. No, I need you. He turned to her. What do you mean? She stood up, walked slowly toward him, and placed her hand gently on his chest. My body listens to yours now, she said. Your fear, your calm, it speaks to me. John didn't move. He didn't pull away. He felt warmth spread through him, not just physical, but something deeper. A strange peace, mixed with curiosity and care. You're saying we're connected? He asked. Alira nodded. Bond begins when you feed life, not just food, kindness, protection. He gave a small laugh. I didn't mean to bond. I was just trying to help. Alira tilted her head. And yet, it happened. You feel it too. Don't lie. John hesitated, then said, yeah, I feel something. I just don't understand it. She looked into his eyes. Neither do I. That's why it's real. Later, John ran tests on himself. The results shocked him. His DNA was changing, not fully, but enough to notice. Cells were waking up, reacting to something. His nervous system had increased sensitivity, faster reflexes, sharper vision. Is this from you? He asked her. Alira nodded. Your body responds to mine, like it remembers something older. Older than humans, he asked. She touched his hand. Older than both of us. That night they sat together in silence. No alarms, no signals, just the low hum of the ship and the quiet closeness between them. Alira asked, why do you live alone in space? John looked out the window. Because I didn't belong anywhere else. She tilted her head. You don't belong alone. He smiled sadly. Maybe not, but it's easier. Alira leaned closer. For my people, alone means dying. That's why we always bond in pairs, not for mating, but for being. John looked at her glowing face, so close to his own. Is that what you want from me? She shook her head. I don't want. I choose. That is different. As they floated in silence, a strange signal came through the ship's audio. A low, vibrating tone. Not words, not music. Something else. John checked the screen. It's not a message. It's a frequency. Alira's eyes went wide. They're trying to break the bond. He stood. She pointed at the sound. That tone attacks feeling. It makes minds cold. Empty, like them. John suddenly felt dizzy. His hands trembled. He turned off the sound. Alira rushed to him and touched his forehead. Blue light passed from her hand to his skin. The shaking stopped. He looked at her, breathing hard. You protected me. She smiled softly. As you did for me. The next day, they approached a small moon to hide behind. The harvester ship was now only 36 hours away. John prepared defenses. He installed decoys, activated cloaking fields, and checked every system. But Alira had something else in mind. We can't run, she said. We must bond fully, or they will always find us. What does that mean? John asked. She sat him down. It means we trust. Share everything. Memory, emotion, pain. No secrets. He looked unsure. That sounds dangerous. She nodded. It is. But so is everything else. They sat across from each other. Alira placed her hands on his temples. Blue light formed around them, like a soft cloud. Close your eyes, she said. John did. Then it began. He saw her memories, bright red skies, crystal cities, laughter from voices not human. Then screams, fires, black ships covering the stars, her mother vanishing in light. She saw his memories, earth, rain on glass windows, a childhood of silence, a military life filled with orders but no connection. They both felt the same thing at the core. Loneliness. But not anymore. When it ended, they opened their eyes at the same time. John was crying. Alira was glowing brighter than ever. We are one now, she said softly. John smiled weakly. You weren't made in a lab, Alira. You were born from pain and love. Just like me. She nodded. Then we are ready. Ready for what? He asked. She stood tall, stronger than before. When the harvesters come, we won't run. Suddenly, a new alert appeared. Signal detected. Harvester vessel changing course. Now heading directly toward Earth. John's eyes went wide. They're going to my planet, Alira whispered. Then it's not just about me anymore. He looked at her. We have to stop them. She nodded. Together. The stars looked peaceful, but war was coming. Captain John Carter stared at the screen. The harvester ship had changed course. It was no longer chasing them. It was heading straight toward Earth. Why Earth? He asked. Alira stood beside him, her glow dimmer than before. Because they don't just want me now. They want you, too. They needed answers. Real ones. John remembered the hidden data core they had recovered from Alira's wrecked ship. He hadn't cracked all the files before, but now, with Alira's help, he might. They plugged it in again. Strange symbols filled the screen. Alira placed her hand on it. The interface responded. Shifting into readable English, a single folder blinked. Project Edenfall, Human-Alien Hybrid Archive. John opened the first file. A video began. A lab. Clean white earth technology. mixed with alien tools. Scientists stood in front of glowing tanks. Inside those tanks, small glowing figures. Alira gasped softly. One of them was her. A voice played over the video. Calm cold. This is Dr. Emil Kale, head of Edenfall. We have created 12 viable hybrid units, designed to mimic human emotion, to form psychic bonds, to survive the harvester threat by becoming something they cannot touch. Life that loves. The screen showed a chart, timelines, test results, behavior logs. Unit 7 has shown the strongest bond response, especially when paired with subject DNA from Project Sentinel. John Carter. John's breath caught. What? He whispered. Alira stared at him. You were part of this. I didn't know, John said. I never signed up for this. I was just a pilot. Alira placed her hand on his. Not just a pilot. You were chosen. Before you even knew me. The next file showed more. Unit 7 shows signs of imprinting. When placed near Carter's sample, even unconsciously, her vitals rise. Her healing improves. We believe Carter is the missing element. The video paused. John sat back. His hands were shaking. They made you and linked you to me, he said, like a machine. Alira looked down. I thought I was free. You are, John said quickly. You're not just a lab test. She didn't answer. He added, you feel things. You saved me. You made choices. Machines don't do that. Finally, she looked at him. Do you still believe in me? He took a deep breath. Yes, I do. Later, Alira sat alone in the observation room, watching the stars. John walked in, holding a small object. A memory chip, his own from military service. He placed it next to her. Want to see who I used to be? She nodded. They loaded it. Video. Clips played John as a young recruit. Fights, training, loneliness. His last mission, one that cost the lives of his team. I left the military after that, he said. I couldn't carry their ghosts. Alira touched the screen. You carry them still. John nodded. I thought I had nothing left to give. Then I met you. Just then, alarms beeped again. A new signal, not from the harvester ship, from Earth. Unknown classified file accessed remotely from Lunar Base. Message. Project Edenfall. Shutdown failed. Subject 7, classified as active threat. Orders, capture or destroy. John cursed under his breath. They know you're alive. Alira stood slowly. They fear me now. No, John said. They fear what they did. And what you became. Without them. John turned to the controls. We can't let them take you. I'm not running anymore, Alira said. I want the truth to live, not just inside us, but for others too. John had an idea. He took all the data, the Edenfall files, the memories, the harvester logs, and prepared a transmission. Let's tell the galaxy, he said. He broadcasted it to multiple outer colonies, not Earth directly. Places where free thinkers, rebels, and truth seekers still listened, as the message sent. Alira stepped beside him. I was born from science, she said. But I became real when you showed me kindness. John smiled. And I became more than a soldier when I saw you fight for life. Alira's glow brightened again. The bond is complete now, she said softly. No more halfway. He looked into her eyes. What happens next? She replied. Now we become what they never planned for. Suddenly, the scanner beeped one last time. Harvester ship, now entering Earth's orbit. John stood tall. It's time, he said. Let's protect what matters. Alira held out her hand. Together, he took it always. Lunar Base floated above Earth like a silent guardian. Built on the moon's dark side, it watched the planet day and night. But now, it was watching something else. The harvester ship had arrived. It hovered near the moon. A massive shadow of black metal and silence. It didn't fire. It didn't speak. It just waited. John Carter's ship landed on Lunar Base with a soft hiss. Soldiers were already waiting. Guns ready. Faces cold. The commander stepped forward. You brought the girl. John stepped in front of Alira. Her name is Alira, and she's not your enemy. The commander didn't blink. She's a project, a failed one. Orders are to contain her. Alira stood still, her hands at her side. Her glow was dim, calm, but her eyes watched everything. John said firmly. She's the reason we're still alive. The harvester ship isn't here for war. It's here for her. And if you hand her over, they'll take Earth too. The commander narrowed his eyes. You bonded with it. With her, John corrected. The man shook his head. You've been compromised. John leaned in. No, I've been awakened. Alira stepped forward and held up her hand. I will not run, but I will not be caged. The lights flickered. One soldier raised his weapon. She's doing something. John shouted. No, she's protecting herself. But it was too late. The floor rumbled. The harvester ship moved. Slow, heavy, terrifying. Its outer shell opened like a flower of darkness, revealing sharp structures inside, not weapons, but something worse. Trainers, long arms, reaching out toward the moon. Not to destroy, but to absorb. Alira stepped onto the launch deck and raised both arms. Her body glowed brighter than ever, blue light rising like mist around her. I can stop them, she said softly, but I need time. The commander finally saw the truth in her eyes. He turned to his team. By her that time, Alira closed her eyes. Her feet left the ground. She floated upward, hands glowing, light spreading across the base's shield systems. The moon's defense grid flickered, then synced with her pulse. John watched from below. She's linking with the base. The commander nodded. She's turning the shield into a weapon. Suddenly, the harvester ship attacked. Beams of black energy struck the shield. The impact was massive. Lunar base shook. Walls cracked. Lights exploded. Alira screamed, not in pain, but in focus. She was holding back death itself. More soldiers arrived. Some tried to pull John away. She's not going to make it, one said. She'll burn out. But John pushed forward. No, she's not alone. He ran to the power core and did something no one expected. He connected his BIOS directly to the system. To her, blue light jumped from his skin into the console. Alira felt it instantly. A second pulse. Strong. Familiar. She opened her eyes and smiled. You came. John's voice echoed through the link. Always. Together, their energy spread. The shield around the base grew larger, brighter. The drainers from the harvester ship cracked and curled back. Inside the black ship, systems failed. Sparks flew. A loud, hollow sound echoed across space like a scream from a dying star. But the effort had a cost. Alira's body began to flicker. The blue light faded. Her arms dropped. John felt it. Stay with me, he shouted. She fell gently, like a feather through starlight. John caught her. Her skin was cold. The commander rushed in. We did it. The harvester ship is retreating. But John wasn't smiling. He looked down at Alira. She was still breathing barely. Her glow was gone. He whispered, don't leave me. Alira opened her eyes one last time. I gave all of me to save your world. John nodded, tears in his eyes. You are my world. She smiled and closed her eyes. Hours passed. The harvester ship had vanished. Earth was safe. For now. But Alira didn't wake up. They placed her in stasis. Her body quiet. Her pulse too soft to track. She's in some kind of energy sleep. The doctor said, but she's not gone. John stayed beside her. Every day he talked to her, told her stories, held her hand, and waited. One night, weeks later, the ship lights flickered. Soft blue glow returned to Alira's hands. John looked up. Her fingers moved. She opened her eyes. I dreamed of you, she whispered. John laughed and cried at the same time. You came back. She smiled weakly. Our bond never left. Captain John Carter had seen stars burn, moons break, and cities vanish. But nothing changed him more than what happened in the quiet after the war. He sat beside Alira's stasis pod, watching her sleep. She looked peaceful, almost human, but not quite. The blue glow had returned to her skin, faint like a pulse hiding in light. Every day, John spoke to her. And every day, he felt something inside grow. It started small. He could sense things before they happened. Tiny shifts in power, approaching footsteps, even the emotions of people near him. At first, he thought it was stress. But then came the dreams. Not his dreams, hers. He saw red skies, broken towers, laughter from beings with glowing eyes, and a strange song, one he had never heard, but knew every word of. One morning, he looked in the mirror. The blue markings, faint but real, had returned to his skin. She was still with him, not just in memory, but inside. Lunar-based doctors ran tests. They had no answers. She transferred more than just energy, one said. It's like UT. Carry her signature, her pattern, her presence. John already knew that. He could feel her thoughts like a whisper behind his own, not controlling him, just there. One night, as he sat in silence, her voice came, not out loud, not through speakers, but inside his chest. I'm not sleeping anymore, John, just learning. You, he smiled. You're awake. half awake, half inside you, half still me. He whispered, "Why are you inside me?" Her answer came softly, "Because I couldn't leave you. Not when you became part of me." The next day, Earth Command sent a message. The Harvester ship hadn't been destroyed, only pushed away. And now, it was sending out signals again. Searching, learning, preparing. They asked John if Alira was still a threat. He didn't answer, because the truth was more complicated. Later that week, he walked the outer edge of Luna Base, staring at Earth below, peaceful, blue, quiet. For now, Alira spoke in his mind again. "They're not done. The Harvesters always come back." He nodded. "Then we stop them again." "Not the same way," she said. "Next time, it must be from within." He asked, "What do you mean?" Her answer changed everything. "You can carry me, but you can also pass me on." John returned to the lab, connected the systems, reviewed the data Alira had left behind. She wasn't just a hybrid dot, she was a blueprint, a bridge between species. She had bonded with him, not just as a companion, but as a beginning. And now, something new lived inside him. Something that could be shared. Earth Command called again. "We need weapons, John, not dreams." He looked at the screen. "You already had weapons. They failed. What we need is life that evolves." The man on the other end stared. "Are you saying you can make more?" John nodded. "Not machines, not soldiers. Something better. Something born, not built." Alira's voice returned. "Let me show you." That night, John entered the ship's memory core. There, in blue light, he saw her standing tall in digital form. Not a ghost, not a program, but her. Alira reached out. "It's time." John touched her hand. Their bodies didn't merge, but their lights did. A pulse flowed through the ship. New systems activated. New data formed. A message was sent to distant stars. Not a cry for help, but a signal of change. Weeks passed. Across the galaxy, strange children were being born, half human, half something else. No one knew why. Some called it evolution. Some called it a virus. But John knew what it was. It was Ali Ra, living inside the future. Months later, John stood on a green hill under Earth's sun, watching the wind blow through tall trees. Behind him, a small girl with soft blue eyes ran through the grass, laughing. She looked human, but wasn't. She had Alira's light. She was the first of many, a child born from survival, love, and the choice to protect, not destroy. John picked her up. She looked at the sky. "Will they come back?" she asked. John nodded. "Yes. Will we be ready?" He smiled. "We won't just be ready. We'll be waiting." She leaned her head on his chest. "I feel her in you," she whispered. John looked to the stars. "So do I." Alira's voice echoed one last time. "I'm not gone, John. I'm just everywhere now." He closed his eyes and smiled.